It's time. It is their time. Let's go, yo. Dudes. So, I have a less. Did I fix it? We're good now, right? Hopefully. Maybe. Regardless. Audio's good on my end. Yeah, we're good? Okay, we're good. Yo, so first and foremost, shout out to y'all for stopping by. I see my dog Parvision in here, man. Shout out to Big Dog Parvision. That's a good man right there. Shout out to everybody else in here. Lazy Mofos, my boy was good. Takasugi was good. Subra was good. Donati was good. AJ was good. So, I was told during the initial reaction stream that to do a live Afterthoughts this week, but honestly, the fact that this is happening is like a miracle. It's like a miracle. And so we're gonna be here for my time limit is until 1:30, so we got a good 45 minutes to discuss some greatness. Before we hop into the comment section discussion, I just have some things to talk about the chapter in regards to my own personal afterthoughts. And those small things are, number one, of course, addressing the GOAT with the original GOAT with the GOAT himself and Shanks as an individual that is now about to become a major player within the story. I've been thinking nonstop. That one panel, or I should say that one page of Shanks telling Ben Beckman that it's time to go claim the One Piece has been rent-free, right? Because it's like, how do we take that panel? How do we even begin to digest all of that, right? The fact that we got 3 pages, 3 pages of Shanks for 3 Santa hats, right? It's the first triple Santa hat ever, and it's Shanks, you know what I mean? It's Shanks. But I've been thinking so much about why in the world they are in Wano, and what is Shanks about to do if he's not gonna go meet up with Luffy? Why is he here? Is he really here in an attempt to intercept someone who's gonna be here, or is he truly just on the way to the next destination, which is gonna be either Elbaf or Lodestar or wherever it is that we're going next? And that is where we confront Shanks. Whatever ends up happening, I've gotten to the point to where now I'm not even I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on that later on. But now it's just gotten to the point where just screw all of that. We'll leave that into the future. I'm just happy that we got more Shanks screen time. I'm so happy that we got that this week. That I'm like, you know what? All the other stuff is going to fall into place whenever it falls into place. But I was just so happy to get more, not only just Shanks screen time, but we got to see, Ben and Lucky Roo and Yasop. We even saw the monkey, dude, the monkey of legend. So it's like, that by itself constituted just so much happiness, getting pieces of the flashback through Shanks' perspective. And it really opened the doors for later on down the line when we do actually get Shanks' full flashback. However it is going to end up happening, it's super exciting stuff, right? And obviously, one of the most interesting characters in the series, right up there with Dragon and Instant Messenger, Sama, Rocks, Crocodile, these characters that we don't know the full picture when it comes to them. And Shanks is most certainly, because of his role in the story and what he means to Luffy, what he means to so many of us, like the chokehold he has the fandom in is absolutely insane. We just want to know more, right? And it's like, lately, the more we've seen from him, the more spooky it gets. And so it's just super exciting stuff on that end. Obviously, Shanks' greatness inbound. But another thing that I really enjoyed from the first part of this chapter was the utilization of both Yamato and Momonosuke. Obviously, the scabbards coming in attempting to defend their homeland. It's something that I really respect. No matter who this is, obviously they're not going to know this is a massive threat in Green Bull coming in an attempt to take Luffy. So obviously they don't know, right? They don't know this man is on that level. He is that dude. So they're just out here just trying to defend their territory. And I really appreciated the fact that Yamato came in, because I remember back when Kaido announced that he wanted Yamato to be the shogun. And we had that little, part of obviously Yamato not wanting to follow Kaido's, what Kaido has in line for Yamato, right? That's a big part of her character journey. But the fact of the matter remains is if she is following within the scabbards, Odin, and protecting Wano and all that, it was just super dope to have her coming in, not knowing who this individual is, right? They don't know that Ryokugyu is that dude. But regardless, she comes in, first thing, conquers coded attack, and is like, yo, let's get it. Let's get it. And, referring to herself as Yamato and whatnot, and rather than Odin, it was great stuff. We're getting closer and closer to the eventual moment whenever she declares who she truly is. But then on top of that, we get Momonosuke coming in, which was my favorite part of that first section of the chapter. Because, as I said in the reaction, Momonosuke, the thing from the very beginning that I've loved about his character is how much he wants to do, the intention behind so much of what he wants to do, but his cowardice as an 8-year-old, the expectations of the world on his shoulders are sometimes too big for him. The moment is too big for him sometimes. And it causes for some really compelling moments. And I feel like that moment right there with Green Bull was one of those compelling moments. Because yes, even though we just saw him have this amazing moment in 1051, where he comes out, adult form, everybody's like paying respect to the Shogun and whatnot, but he's still a kid at the end of the day. And I thought that having those intentions there, and just seeing how he was like, you know what, I'm going to take care of this. Because if I'm going to be the leader of this country, I have to show right here, right now, that I can fend off against any threat that comes in. And what I love so much about that is that's already setting up the potential later on down the line for Momonosuke as a formidable warrior and a formidable samurai. Because I believe intention comes first, and then your skill set will follow later on. It's like with Luffy in Gear 5th, right? It's like, for the entire series, we saw the potential, we saw the seeds being placed in several different places, gaining more, understanding of his ability and mastering his ability and whatnot. And then Gear 5th is the pinnacle of that. It's the representation that the journey is about to reach its end with this man reaching the pinnacle of his ability. And Momonosuke's case, I look forward to, I don't know if it's going to be later on down the line in the series, maybe and at the end of the series we get like a time skip when we get to see a formidable Momonosuke who, I mean, even if I know he's going to be nasty in combat just like his pops, but outside of that, just as a leader of the country, this is the stuff that I love to see, because we're starting to see that no matter who is going to enter this country, no matter who it is from now on, after what he saw Luffy do to Kaido, he's like, nah, I'm going to take care of this. And he was like, yo, Yamato, you stay out of this. This is my ordeal. This is my obstacle. This is my challenge. I got to take care of this myself, because if I can't take care of him, how am I going to take care of everybody else who eventually is going to start coming in? Because once we open the borders of Wano, that's going to open the possibilities of all these types of challenges and dangers that are going to come to try to invade Wano, right? So how are we going to fend off against them? And I love that Momonosuke is taking this first step as leader. And of course, I expect the next time we go back to that scene for the rest of the Scabbards and Yamato to say, Momonosuke, we're here to fight for you. And Momonosuke's going to have to come to an understanding that he can't do everything by himself. And he has to rely on everybody else as well, the same way that he relied on Luffy. And I look forward to having that moment between all of them as well, because that's going to be a beautiful moment for his growth as the Shogun. So I loved the potential there for Momonosuke greatness coming within that conflict against Green Bull. And then Green Bull, of course, now that we see his obsession with hierarchy and whatnot, I look forward to seeing how that's going to contrast Momonosuke and just the ideologies of Wano. I look forward to seeing how all of that ends up being there. So, and then the end, of course, of the chapter, all of the craziness happening there. Our Flame Emperor, a Sabo greatness. Of course, when it comes to where Sabo now is in terms of the overall skill of the world, it's just insane to me to think that what happened in the Reverie has taken Sabo to the point to where now he's the face of the Revolutionary Army. It's like, Dragon is the individual who founded it. Dragon's the individual who's known as the most wanted criminal, but now they have a face now, like a baby face, right? Like Dragon just has like this type of face where you look at him, you don't know if you want to follow him. He looks kind of shady, right? He looks kind of mysterious. But Sabo, he has one of those faces you'd like to put like in front of a business. Like if I was running a business, I'd be like, oh, Sabo, go out there and put my product and promote it, right? Because he just has that type of a vibe to him, right? He's a lot like Luffy in that regard. So to have him be the symbol of revolution. Viva la revolución. Sabo greatness, right? And it's so cool that that while the kings were gone, while the kings were out there doing everything that they were doing, the 8 nations that did not have their kings yet, because of course they were still on the way back home from the reverie, they started a revolution because of this man, because of what Sabo was doing. And it was just so dope to me because I was like, yo, this man is doing legitimate change out here. It's like, you know, a lot of tides are moving, and there's a lot of stuff is starting to change in the One Piece world. But it's super cool how this particular thing is happening because of what they're doing. And it reminds me of the whole Luffy thing where, you know, yes, declaring war on the WG back in Enies Lobby was huge. But it's like, those things that the Straw Hats did is what inspired Bartolomeo to want to follow him. It's what inspired the Grand Fleet to want to follow him, you know. And every time that you see Luffy do these things, it has these kingdoms and these countries that want to come together and follow him. And we're going to have that at the end of the series, and it's one of the superpowers that Mihawk said that he has, the world's most dangerous superpower. But in Sabo's case, what I find so fascinating is they just heard of these events. They heard of the fact that he rescued Kuma and destroyed the symbol of slavery up there in the Marijoa. And all of that entire mesh of stuff happening up there was so insane that they started looking at this man like their savior. They started looking at this man like Sabo could be the individual that can free us from this type of thing. And in that regard, it's very interesting how, because when Nika was initially introduced, I was thinking about how Nika could potentially be the symbol for Dragon starting his revolutionary army. Like, maybe whenever he found out about Nika, he was like, I want to be this generation's Nika, right? An individual who can bring smiles to people's faces. But what's crazy is the individual who's actually the Flame Emperor, a son, if you will. It's fascinating how now you have Sabo representing that role in the same way that Luffy is. And it's just... it's really, really interesting, and I look forward to seeing how this whole Sabo thing ends up now playing a way bigger role than I initially anticipated. I thought Sabo was going to, of course, play a big role, brother of Luffy and whatnot, but now we see that Oda has a lot of major plans in store for him, because what I love so much about that part of the chapter is we all predicted the framing part, we predicted the Vivi escape, all that, right? That was all in the predictions here within the community. But none of us could have seen the impact that would have in a positive way for Sabo. Like, we all expected, oh man, the world's going to turn on Sabo, they're not going to see him. And this. No! On the contrary, individuals are looking at this man as a symbol now. And it's like, wait. So, I look forward to seeing the reactions to Sabo's information in the newspaper from our crew specifically and whatnot. That's going to lead to some great moments. But Sabo greatness, and now Akainu specifically stating that whatever they try doing, he's going to have a countermeasure for it. It's going to cost for some insanity. So the fact that Sabo was out here, shout out to King of Lightning, Sabo and a few good men went out here and got the job done. And it's like, yo, shout out to Sabo, man. And so once again, it's just intention, right? This chapter was just, I loved it because of the intentions of the characters, right? Like Sabo's intention, his good intentions, led to individuals wanting to follow him. Momonosuke's good intentions are going to lead the Scabbards to want to help him in this battle against Green Bull. Now, what are Shanks' intentions? We're going to have to find out. We're going to have to find out, yo. You feel me? So, just overall, extremely stuff. Those are my thoughts. I have, I just really wanted to get out there because I've been thinking about this chapter a lot. And more so than just, like, the surface hype that was insane. You know, getting a chapter around the world is always special, but when you get a Shanks sighting in there too, and it's for 3 pages, it makes it for some really, really good stuff. And the Sabo hype could not be more real now. Like, Sabo greatness, our boy is out here, man. Like, who would have thought that back when chapter 731 dropped that it would lead to this? You know, Dressrosa really was like a big, when Law cut the Punk Hazard in half, that entire mountain there, the island, it was like, we didn't understand just how huge that would be, because that led to Dressrosa and all the stuff that happened after that, but Dressrosa really was this huge part in setting the world in the way that it is right now, and even when it comes to the Sabo stuff, like, but man, dude, so we got a few super chats right here. Randy G, my dog. What's good, Randy G? Comes in with a 10 and says, this chapter was great. Keep it up, King. This chapter truly was great, yo. Truly, truly great. I mean, I'm very biased, obviously, so any chapter with Sabo is automatically going to be amazing. But any chapter with Shanks is an automatic 40 out of 10, and that's me being generous. Very generous, alright? Because Shanks is a part of that line. Like, any chapter with just a sighting of this man's a 40. A chapter with Shanks actually in it, minimum 100. Minimum 100. And I don't make the rules, alright? But thank you so much, Randy G, bro. I really appreciate you. Sabo and a few good men. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell y'all. PK comes in with the $5 and says, BB, Blackbeard, Mr. Zip, about to take out Garp and abduct Shirahoshi. The Straw Fleets versus the red-haired pirates collision to test Luffy and his crew are part of One Piece is in Wano. So let's go ahead and dissect this, PK, because you're hitting me with some greatness here. So Blackbeard about to take out Garp is very interesting to me. And the reason for that is, of course, there's that connection between Blackbeard and rocks. And so if Blackbeard is on the way to Fishman Island in order to... Because Blackbeard's intentions are just so... He's by far, you know, up there with like Shanks, Im-sama, and Dragon, like what I was saying earlier, when it comes to his intentions, because it's like, we know he's a very ambitious individual, but what is he going for? What could possibly be, while the world is in chaos, what is, because he's the ultimate opportunist, right? This is the individual who does whatever means necessary to attain his goal. And so it's like, what could he possibly want while everyone's doing whatever it is that insanity is happening, not only just around the world, but in Wano? Like, everyone who could possibly stop him is not available, except for, like, Shanks, right? So it's like, what is he gonna go for? So if he is actually, like you're saying, going for Shirahoshi, going for an ancient weapon, it's like, if he and Garp had that standoff, that's, you know, considering theories with Blackbeard potentially being inspired by rocks, or the whole rocks and Blackbeard connection, it's like, what's gonna come out of that if they do clash? If Garp and Blackbeard clash, what comes out of that? What are the consequences of that, man? That's gonna be crazy. And then as far as your Straw Fleet versus Red Pirates collision, with you know, Shanks talking about the Bartolomeo thing in this week's chapter, going back to the cover page, it's like, what is that going to lead towards? Obviously, with what Luffy stated is going to happen, where he's going to take down all 4 Emperors before he gets to One Piece. Shanks, of course, obviously is going to end up being on that list, and after this week's chapter, they're going to clash, and I cannot wait for that. That's going to be the pinnacle of the peak. When Shanks and Luffy have that clash, that's like Whitebeard and Roger flying. Animals are going to be swimming. They're going to be moving. Birds are going to be flying. Birds are going to be cawing. Like, yo, I feel a monster. I feel a king. I feel a goat. And all of these animals are going to spread out. Like, whoa, what's going on? And Shanks and Luffy have their moment. No one wants to be on the planet when they clash. When Shanks and Luffy clash, yo, it's going to affect the real world. I'm going to start feeling lightning. All right, and more than I already do. I live in a part of the world where there's a lot of... I feel like I'm on Raijin Island most of the time, right? So it's like, yo, you're going to have these natural disasters forming within the actual reality itself. That's how insane that Shanks and Luffy collision was. Screw them not touching. They're going to attempt to touch, and it's like, from then on out, they're either entering another dimension, or the dimension itself is going to start collapsing. And we're going to see the moon itself. We're going to see the NLs on the moon. Like, yo, this is the time of a lifetime. And then he himself on the moon is going to be blown away. No more Luffy versus Kaido's clashes, you know, and he's sitting there eating some popcorn and enjoying the time of his life. No, if Luffy and Shanks clash, like Roger and Whitebeard did, that's affecting everyone on the moon and back. It's going to affect their grandchildren. It's going to affect the individuals in the generations before and after. They might turn back. Luffy and Shanks clashing might turn back time and set it all the way back to the very beginning. Who knows? But as far as the fleet versus the red-haired pirates goes, I don't know if the Straw-Hat Fleet wants to see the red-haired pirates. I don't know if any one of them wants to see the monkey. So, I mean, the monkey might one-shot the whole Grand Fleet. But regardless, the intention there of Bartolomeo going over to Shanks, or them meeting up again and them having that moment where Shanks is going to test Luffy of, like, how far are you willing to go for your people? And because we know that he doesn't play by the rules, right? We know he's a pirate who, at the end of the day, he doesn't play any games, as we saw in Chapter 1. And so I look, how is he going to test Luffy in that regard, if that is the route in which we're going? So that's a very interesting thought right there, PK. And then, of course, with a part of One Piece being Wano, I think that's inevitable in regards to a piece of the puzzle, right? We already got the Pluton. The ancient weapons are without a doubt going to be a major piece of whatever it is that the One Piece is. Not the One Piece treasure itself, but leading into that whole mystery. And so obviously that's there. I don't think there's a piece of the One Piece here. I think that's all on Laugh Tale, but it's part of like a major part of that, absolutely. Like with the Kozuki clan members being the creators of the poneglyphs and the Pluton and whatnot, that's going to lead into some very, very important stuff. So, no doubt, man. Yo, PK, you've been on this Blackbeard Garp thing for a minute, man. I look forward to seeing all of that, if that does end up being the case. Because you've been calling that for a while, yo. So, I look forward to seeing if that's going to happen. And then we have Jinsia coming in with a 125 and says, I remember the first triple Santa hat was Roger versus Whitebeard, or was it 2? But I do remember Coach Recon coming in plus at least 2 Santa hats. Yo, you're probably right. I mean, when Roger and Whitebeard clash, there probably was at the very least 2 Santa hats, honestly. There probably was. There probably was, yo. No joke. No joke. But it was a crazy chapter. I mean, come on, Roger and Whitebeard clashing? That was something none of us expected. None of us expected, right? So to have that inside of a flashback that was already felt like a dream come true was just insane. So you're probably right. That might have been the first triple Santa hat. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, I appreciate you, dog. Thank you so much. Yo, Silva, what's good, man? What's good? Yo, Silva, how'd you like the episode yesterday, bro? That episode was crazy. That One Piece episode was crazy, man. Andres Gonzalez says, I'm so excited to see what state Kuma's in. I love that character, and I'm hoping he's not too far gone. You know, Andres Gonzalez, I'm really excited in the Kuma plotline too, because now with Kuma being freed, that opens up the possibilities of not only Kuma being a major player in the final arc, but it's going to open that whole connection between his kingdom, the tyrant epithet that he has, and the Jewelry Bonnie connection. Because, like I was stating in the initial stream, if Jewelry Bonnie did escape with Kuma, and the Revolutionary Army left, either with Kuma and Jewelry Bonnie, or in order to divert the attention of the Navy, the Revolutionary Army went one way, and Jewelry Bonnie taking Kuma went a completely different way, right? So I look forward to seeing that Jewelry Bonnie Kuma connection, considering how the supernovas have changed the story in regards to their importance and how things have changed thanks to their involvement within the story. I'm really excited to see whether it's going to be through flashback form or in real time. If they end up going back to their kingdom, if it even exists, you know, we don't know if their kingdom even exists anymore. But if Kuma's kingdom exists, then I wonder if it's even a part of this era. And if they do go back to that, to where it is, like, what happens then? Will Kuma take, if he regains, you know, his mind, or will they have to go to Vegapunk? Is that where we see Kuma again with, does Bonnie take Kuma to Vegapunk in order to attempt to bring him back? And that gives us an emotional moment at the end of the series where Kuma is actually, you know, back in full control of his mind, at least for a little while. Or does he go back, does Julia Bonnie take him back home and see if in his home state, in his hometown, in his kingdom, is that where something's gonna click in Kuma's mind? Because right now he's too far gone. And I wonder if the approach that we're gonna go with this. Are we gonna go the Vegapunk route? Or are we gonna go the route of like memories potentially unlocking that piece of himself that's currently too far gone? I'm not sure, but it's really, really exciting stuff. Because like you said, Kuma is a really, really fascinating character. He's a great character. And now that he's freed, we have a lot more potential here for what can happen. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Yo, Laz, what's good, my brother? How are you feeling about Oda adding a legacy game for the... Oda's had 1,054 legacy games in a row, like you said. But this legacy game in particular, this was a Wilt Chamberlain game right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a 40 rebounds, 20 blocks, 100 points. That was that type of game, man. Any game with Shanks, or any chapter with Shanks in it, that's a prime any anyone. You know what I mean? Like you talk about any of the all-time greats, that is them at their peak when Shanks shows up. That's just it. That's just it. You know what I mean? The monkeys, the Bex reincarnation. That might be facts, Vince Smoke. That might be facts, yo. Yeah, Super says, it's been forever, but I still feel like something special is about to happen in 1056. That is the Gomu chapter. That's a great point, actually. I didn't even think about that 1056. It's totally headcanon, but I still think we can get a Shanks and Luffy scene. I mean, you might be right. If that is the Gomu chapter, we know that Oda has definitely played with numbers before. Actually, before I logged on here, I saw my boy Sandman talking about the connection with numbers and destiny. You know, the dreams or destiny conversation that we had earlier on in the series with Whoop Slap. And how what Shanks stated with Ben Beckman this week. I'd have to look at it again because I saw it real quick while I just posted it real quick and got off before I started the stream. But I needed to look at what Sandman said because Sandman connected like numbers to the whole destiny or dreams conversation. So, Oda's definitely utilized numbers in a lot of different points in the story. So if 1056 is going to be important because of the Gomu number, then you might be right. That might be either the chapter where Luffy and Shanks meet up, or it's going to be just very important overall to the story in regards to Luffy, right? So we might get something really big with Luffy that week, and I think that's going to be our break chapter, right? Because it's probably going to be 1054, 1055, and then 1056 and then break. So if 1056 is a banger, we're going to go on break. That's just the way it is. So you might be right there, Subra. Lazy Mofo says, whatever it is, better be a good reason that Bartholomew is taking priority or everything else in the world. Yo, facts. Hard facts, right, Lazy Mofos? Shanks, these back. Yo, Billy Evans, honestly, it wouldn't even surprise me. Wouldn't even surprise me, dude. Yo, Kev DOG was good. Yeah, he says that the Blackbeard Garp idea is really intriguing. Yo, PK has been pushing that for a minute. So I'm telling you, if that actually ends up being the case, because it makes sense, right? Especially if the connection between Blackbeard and Rocks is there, and if Blackbeard is really trying to get the ancient weapons together before we start what's about to happen, because he knows. He's not an idiot, right? He knows that Luffy has befriended Shirahoshi and is gonna just by happenstance and just by them being friends, Luffy's gonna have that valuable asset in the final war. So why wouldn't Blackbeard, while all this stuff is going on around the world, go forcefully kidnap Shirahoshi to attempt to get the Sea Kings on his side and take that asset away from Luffy? Because if not, if Luffy's gonna come in there, straight up whole with the Sea King fleet behind him, thanks to Shirahoshi, it's like, man, that's gonna be crazy. So in terms of Blackbeard wanting to take Shirahoshi, the intentions there make perfect sense. I just wonder what the consequences of Blackbeard versus Garp would be. Like, would Blackbeard kill Garp there? Would he heavily injure him to the point to where then... Because remember, I always talk about this interview where Oda talked about wanting to draw a story with Garp, the Revolutionary Army, and Luffy's birth. It was an interview from a while ago. And now that we're in the final saga, that is his opportunity to talk about that, right? Seeing more from Garp's story and potentially have a Garp's flashback within that Blackbeard fight. Not only that, but of course, with the Sabo stuff, we're definitely getting into the Revolutionary Army stuff, and it's almost time where we get this Luffy's birth story, which I'm going to assume the story of Luffy's birth directly connects to the creation of the Revolutionary Army, and so it just all connects there together. But the whole Blackbeard and Garp, the consequences of that fight is super, super interesting to me. Like, super, super interesting to me. You know, Nation, Vegapunk keeping a backup of Kuma's identity is actually really interesting. If something like that's even possible, that'd be crazy. Coach, I petition to name the Discord Walk of Liberation. The Walk of Liberation. That's actually fire, Akash Panda. That's actually fire, yo. Yeah, we might have to do that. Either call it like the Drums of Liberation or the Walk of Liberation. That's actually fire. Or the Walk to the Final Saga. The Walk to Laugh-Tale. Silva says, just watched the episode, loved it, especially the way they adapted the canon material along with the added stuff for the Kingdom. Yo, the Kingdom of Orochi scene was top tier. I feel like I was watching Monogatari with the way that was framed. It was a great, great scene. And the added canon material, like the added material both for the Luffy and Kaido stuff and for the Kinemon stuff was insane. Absolutely insane. Also, imagine if Blackbeard whooped Ace, got him killed, and then killed Luffy's grandpa. That's nasty. You're right. That's nasty work. That's nasty work. And then that would elevate him to the highest. Like, this is the guy that Luffy needs to take out. It's like, yo, he's the main man responsible for getting rid of Ace. He's the man who really took out Whitebeard there at the end, even though Akainu was the one that did most of the damage, but he was the one that finished him off. and obviously has this major connection to Shanks and Stardom. So it's like we already have these massive connections, and if you add Garp on top of that, Luffy's definitely Luffy versus Blackbeard. That would make Luffy versus Blackbeard even more emotional than we already think is going to be. You know what I mean? So, sources say Wilt didn't want to play in the fourth quarter because Oda was unguardable. That's facts, lass. That's facts. He was unguardable. That's facts. The thing I'm most excited to see moving forward is honestly having Vivi back in the story. Need her in Sabo chapters ASAP. Yo, Silva, ASAP, dude. ASAP. And it's like, what I'm really hoping for, because obviously we don't know what's about to happen here in the upcoming chapters, right? We could do the same thing like this week where we saw different points in time, but because we're in a post-arc, we have no idea what this next chapter could be. It could be bounties. It could be finally seeing stuff from Sabo and Vivi's perspective. Though I think, just based on this week's chapter, we might actually save the Sabo and Vivi stuff for like heading into the next arc. But if we do get something more from that very, very soon, because you're right, I miss Vivi so much. I've been in a massive Alabasta, like the whole saga, the Baroque Works saga mood lately. So like having Vivi back in the story would just be magnificent. But seeing how that connects with the Sabo stuff, because now we all assume that Sabo took Vivi and they are currently on the run together. But what about if Oda breaks her ankles and that's not the case? Like, where would Vivi even pop up? Because obviously she's going to be a major, major player in this final arc. She is a Straw Hat, like more so than Law. You know, I always talk about Law being a Straw Hat. Vivi is a Straw Hat. Like Vivi has an eye catcher. Anyone with an eye catcher in the anime is a Straw Hat. That's how I value it, right? And so Vivi is a Straw Hat. And so now her being and joining the crew once more in this final arc, and especially with the Instant Messenger Sama connection, it's like, what is in store for us with Vivi? Obviously, there's the ancient weapon conversation discussion that has been going around for a really long time. But even outside of that, just having her being a part of the crew again, the connections, the possibilities, her giving the truth of what actually happened. Like, let's just say Vivi does meet with the Straw Hats very soon, and then through her perspective, we find out exactly what happened in the Reverie, right? And then we see what's happening with Sabo. But it's like, if that's the case, because for me, in my mind, because Wano's closed off, we're not going to... they already got the bounty stuff, right? So I don't know if that same newspaper has the Sabo information, because when is Luffy even going to attain the Sabo information? How is he going to attain it? Is he going to attain this Sabo information through Vivi? Is he going to attain it through the newspaper? Like, I'm so curious, because that's going to direct us in what's going to happen going into this next arc. Yo, Mac, what's good? Chubby Alonzo, what's good, yo? Yo, Stefan Salih, fantastic chapter. Fantastic chapter. Ashton Samurai says, what's up, Recon 10 out of 10 chapter? Amazing way to start the final saga. Facts, Ashton Samurai. Facts. 1056 is going to be a banger. The way the series is going right now, every chapter about to be going in a whole world. You're right, Silva. The moment I read this chapter, I was like, oh man, if Shanks and any of these characters, not just Shanks, Dragon, Instant Messenger Sama, Sabo, the part-timers are about to become full-timers. Like, you know, Brock Lesnar just walked out. He walked out because of the Vince retirement and whatnot. Like, that's about to be the entire roster, except it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be a whole bunch of part-timers going, and instead of walking out, they're coming back in. They're signing max deals. And so this is about to get crazy, man. This is about to get crazy, son. Every chapter. It feels like every chapter has banger-worthy potential. We're entering the final saga, yo. V2 says, love your stream, man. Recently caught a crazy throat infection. I've been bedridden for 3 weeks now. What you makes from the past? Yo, V2, I really hope that you get better. Those throat infections are no joke, man. So I really appreciate the kind words, and I hope just focus on getting better, and that hopefully you can get out of the situation as quickly as possible. I'm glad that the streams and the videos have been helping you out in some regard to pass through that, because I know when this is affected, it gets your head, it gets your stomach, it just really sucks. So I really hope you feel better, B2. Provision says, did you see the flags on the altar for Sabo in the last page? The flags? Let me actually pull that up right here. The flags. Yo, Shokugeki no Sanji chapter came out, man. We're gonna have to react to that later on in the week. 1054. I love this cover spread, man, with the 4 emperors. So let's go to the last page. And we see the flags, and we get to see... I see the Sabo flag. I see the... That's actually really interesting. You get to have a world government flag with an arrow going through it. Then you have another one of the world government flags over here. One with two blades. You look on the right, the Revolutionary Army flag. Yo, talk to me. Talk to me, Parvision. What you cooking? What you cooking, Parvision? I honestly didn't even notice the flags, dude. I'm gonna keep it real. Up until you pointed this out, I did not see the flags. Yo, what you cooking, bro? What are you cooking? I wanna see. I wanna see what you cooking, man. Yo, PK comes in with a 5. Before I read that, Laz says when Vivi declines to join the Revs because she's a straw hat. That's factual. That's factual. Oh, the Shimotsuki flag is in the mix. That's facts. Yo, PK, before I read your message. Yo, that's facts on. That's what you meant. That is fascinating. So if that really is the Shimotsuki flag, what are we cooking? What are we cooking? What are we cooking? PK says, Blackbeard said if they're the world government, I'm not going to use it, we'll take it or something like that. Garp is the world government, he's in possession of Shirahoshi. That's actually a very good point. That is a very good point. So, yeah, he did some, it was something along those lines. It was like if they don't... Well, I have the chapter right here. It was like... Is this the volume? No, this is the Whitebeard flashback. Alright, I got it. So, Blackbeard stated it was specifically... Look at Garp, man. See, this is why I'm so excited for this, dude. Yo, I really hope we get to see Mihawk or Hancock or Buggy or any one of them. So, Blackbeard leaving his island states, pack your bags onto the ship. Why let the Navy reap the reward when I stand to gain from this? So, it's like, why let them reap... Well, this is, of course, the Viz translation. So, you have to balance between the translations here in order to get the accurate results. Since I can't read Japanese, so we can't get the closest to the source material. But it's very interesting that that basically what he's stating is, why would I stand by and just let the world government take this when I could go in and swoop in and take it, right? So you're absolutely right. That most certainly could end up being the case, PK. And I'm very, very interested, like I said, because the scenario presented earlier, if that is actually the case. Like, that's going to be crazy. So much potential for insane consequences to come out for that are going to lead into Final Saga greatness. My boy Sanji says, hey King, are we reading the latest Shokugeki no Wanji chapter? Absolutely. We're not reading it today because I'm on a time limit today, but I'm most certainly going to be reading it later on in the week. No doubt about that. Yo, Recon comes in with a membership for 5 months. Shout out to my dog Recon. Golden Santa Hat greatness. Yo, any chance Kid will travel with Luffy post Wano? I don't think he will. I don't think they travel with them, but because we're in the final saga, it's going to get to the point to where now there's going to be so many individuals coming back into the story, going into the story. A lot of returning characters that once we leave here, even whenever Law, because I don't think Law's going to be with us anymore either, even though he's a Straw Hat. So, Law going in his way, Kid going in his way, we're going to see them by the time we reach Laugh Tale. I believe that, Luffy, Kid, Law, Buggy, Blackbeard, and Shanks are going to be the major players in the pirate world going from here on out. So, at least captains-wise. Of course, or I should say out of the ones that are currently there, because obviously individuals like Mihawk and Hancock and what they're going to be doing is very, very important as well. But in regards to the ones who are currently active that are not former warlords, besides Law, of course, and Buggy, and Blackbeard technically. But regardless, I'm interested on seeing how all of that, because the way that Oda is gonna structure this final saga is to I think, give as much shine to all of these returning characters, all of our strides as possible. So if Kid and Law were to follow us into the next island, I don't think he would have enough page time to give for all of them. So what we're probably going to get is Kid and Law going their separate ways from Luffy. And then when we see them again, as we get closer to Lodestar or Laugh Till, whatever it is, that's whenever we get like the big Kid stuff. You know, maybe Kid's backstory, the big Kid moments, and stuff of that nature. If one of the other Yonko have died, maybe Kid going in and taking that position. Whatever it is, maybe a Yonko clash, you know, Kid trying to take out a Yonko, he goes in and tries to box whoever. So there's a lot of possibilities out there, and but I don't think he's going to travel with Luffy leaving this island. Maybe they all travel together to the Laugh Till, whatever. But leaving Wano, I don't think they travel together, personally. But I appreciate you for the membership, brother. I predict a new Emu appearance soon. Really, we got to be prepared for that. We have to be prepared for that craziness. We've got to be prepared. Okay, yo, it's Parvision, he's cooking. He's cooking. It's Evil Morge again. Evil Morge. That's one of my favorite covers in the whole series. Love the Luffy, Gear 5th, and Blackbeard side. Yeah, facts, man. It's so good. It's such a great color spread. So, World Government with an arrow through it. I really, really love that that symbol, like what that symbolizes. Sabo with the cross, Shimosuke flag is the two blades. Krimen is Papag's flag. Yeah, that's facts. And last one is Marine's flag upside down, which is really, really cool, right? Because you're absolutely right. This is the Marine's flag right here. But this right here, the World Government flag with an arrow going through it, is so fascinating to me. Yo, Oda's cooking. Oda's cooking, man. Oda's cooking. PK, I think Dragon has connections to every village at this point. But yeah, Shimosuke Village, more than likely, absolutely. Actually, no, he does. 100% he does. Wait. Yo, now that you bring that up, because remember for so long we were like, yo, Koshiro is a member of the Revolutionary Army. That has been a thought in the community for a very, very long time. Or at least has that connection to the Revolutionary Army. And so, that further enforces it, man. The Shimotsu. So what if we go around the world, we open the newspaper, and this man Zoro sees that his former master, or his master, is with the boys, is with the Revs. It's like he's unretiring. He's gonna go in like, oh, that'd be nuts. Shimotsuki Village being... Bro, see now the mind's moving. All right, see, we have Parvision moving the mind here, y'all. Parvision and PK are moving the mind here with old Shimotsuki connection with the Revolutionary Army. That's y'all are hitting me. Y'all are hitting. It's hitting. He did, Malik. He did. Malik is stating facts. In the manga showing dragons stopping at Shimotsuki Village for supplies. That's factual. That's 100% facts. Law leaving will be like watching my wife. Yo, Laz, listen. Law leaving the crew is gonna hit. It's because, bro, he's just been there for so long. Law has been in everything One Piece related since Punk Hazard. Not just the series, but in the movies too. So it's like not having Law is gonna hit. It's gonna hit. So I'm gonna miss my guy, man. The OG goat with the coat, Horace. The OG goat with the coat. The OG goat with the coat, yo. Shanks greatness. Stefan Sally says, I'll be mad at Oda if he won't show. No, he's gonna show us Crocodile again, no doubt. I mean, we keep seeing these hints toward Crocodile and his movements in the world, so we gotta see him again. I just look forward to seeing what and in what capacity we're gonna see him in. I feel Yamato might not join the crew because who's going to protect Wano when Straws leave? Any day Admirals can come back after Green Bull Recon. Yamato's Devil Fruit animal is the guardian of Wano. I mean, you're absolutely right, you know. It's with Yamato joining the crew, for me, it's always been two things, right? Whether Yamato actually stays within Wano, like you said, as the individual is going to be guarding Wano from threats like this and helping Momonosuke. That is most certainly a possibility. There's a connection there with the Scabbards. It's just... The reason why I don't want that to be the case personally is because of my connection to Yamato's character in regards to wanting to be freed from those shackles and go out and see the world, right? And in that regard, whether Yamato ends up leaving with the Straw Hats or goes on a journey by herself, Yamato needs to go on an adventure. For me, that's the way that I see it, right? Whether Oda sees it that way, or whether you see it or not, right? That remains to be seen, in regards to how that's going to play into the story. But that's why I really want Yamato to leave and have that adventure, because Yamato's entire character is about finding yourself through a journey that you actually live. Because it's one thing to be inspired by the journey of someone else, but the only way that you can truly find yourself is by going on your own journey, and that is what captures Yamato's character. That's the reason why I love Yamato's character and why I can't wait for that to progress. And what better way to have that and represent that through the journey with the Straw Hats as they go from island to island, going into the final saga, where Yamato finds herself at the very end of the story. That would just be an amazing character journey, and one that I really want to see. Which is why and for me, that's why I want Yamato to leave with the Straw Hats. But if you're right, and Yamato's role is to just be the guardian of Wano here with Momonosuke, and that is how she finds herself, because that is a decision that she made, and doesn't go on an adventure with like Odin did, because that's what Odin did. And rather, I'm going to do what I can do, because this is what I'm called for at the moment. This is my decision at the moment. So either way, I think it works. So, like I said, for me personally, I want the adventure. But Malik, if you might be onto something in regards to the opposite of that, right? Or I should say something very similar to going out and finding yourself, but it's in a different way. Like by fulfilling this role, that's where Yamato figures out who she truly is. You might be right. Yo, Vortex, what's good, yo? You are a little late. I'm supposed to end the stream at 1:30, but I'm gonna keep this going a little longer because, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just hope that I might have to shoot out a message and be like, yo, I apologize. I'm gonna be a little late, but I can't help it. We're talking about One Piece, but listen, man, this is the thing, right? This is why I only keep live streams to the reactions, because if we do discussion streams, we're gonna be here all day. I can talk about One Piece all day, bro. I have, and I will. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, now that Parvision's in the chat, one of these days, when Parvision and I, or since my dog Laz is in the chat too, like Laz and I stay up until 5 o'clock in the morning talking about One Piece. This is the thing, man. When we get together to talk about the GOAT, and y'all keep hitting me with these ideas, thing, you know, we'll be here all day. And people gotta understand that, bro. When we're talking about One Piece, we're gonna be here all day. We're gonna be here all day. And so, if Yamato doesn't join the crew on Supermax, I might pull a Jordan 94. I mean, Laz, we both might have to retire if Yamato doesn't join the crew. I might join you. I might join you. You feel me? Queen is assassinated by the agent down these stairs. Hey, down these stairs has more Conqueror's coding than maybe everyone besides the monkey in Shanks' crew. I think the monkey in Shanks' crew has the strongest Conqueror's coding besides Shanks himself. So it'd be like Shanks himself, the monkey in Shanks' crew, Lucky Roo's teeth, and then it would be down these stairs for sure. Jamaican Don Dada says, yo, can't believe I caught a GOAT Recon live. Yo, hey man, I'm glad that you're able to catch it too. The thing with time zones, and I'm always, like I said earlier, the fact this is happening is a miracle, because I'm never able, on Sundays, I'm never home. So the fact that I was here, I was like, no, even if it's just for this small amount of time, we're doing this. We're doing this live. Because normally I'm not home on Sunday until later on in the day, and then by then I'm with my family and friends, and so I was like, you know what, but no, we're here. We're here, at least for now. I'm going to try to extend this as much as possible. If I get called, then I'm going to have to end the stream. But we'll be here for as long as possible. I love them. So, Donati says, I love them, but it's definitely time to let Law and Kid go do their own things. I need crew focus in their adventure to a new island ASAP. Especially with Jinbei and Yamato just hopping on, need interaction. See, I'm with Donati on this. Where I love Law and Kid, and I really, really love Law. Law's one of my favorite characters in the story. But we've been with them for so long that now they can leave, and when they come back, it's gonna be great. Like, yes, Law's back, Kid's back. Like, let them go off on their own separate things, let them go off on their own journey, and then when we see them again, it's go time, it's hype time. But you're absolutely right, like, just the Straw Hats by themselves have like, there's so many of them now that balancing those interactions by itself is going to be very difficult. But when you add even more characters on top of that, it's like, man, this is getting crazy. So I feel like we do, going into the next arc, which is why I'm on the same line as you, because for me, in my headcanon, when we go into the next arc, it's going to be a transition arc of the likes of Jaya, or a Sabaody, or a Zoe. But the main focus of this arc starting off, whatever it becomes later on, I'm not sure. Of course, it's going to lead into the final saga. But for me, the main focus of starting that part is going to be what we saw in this chapter times 10 in regards to, y'all remember that chapter with the individuals on the decks who were like, oh, they know Monkey D. Luffy? The Monkey D. Luffy? I think that transition arc is going to be that times 12. Where the Straw's going to pull up, they're going to see that flag, and they're going to run. Like, yo, that's an Emperor! That is an Emperor! So we're going to see an Emperor's crew, go in, stop the ship, leave it there, park it, put it in reverse, Terry, leave it right there, go off into whatever the island is, and people are going to be shook. Like, yo, that's Monkey D. That's the goat with the coat. That's Goat Man. That's the black leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, they're going to pull up, and they're going to be mad shook. And then, of course, you're going to see how the Straws actually are. They're going to have fun, do whatever it is, and whatever other craziness happens there, like every time we go into a new island. But I strongly believe that the first thing that's going to happen is Straw Hat hype. It, like, the first thing we got to see when we leave Wano is how the rest of the world looks at the crew now. Because they look at the Straw Hats the way that now, the title that Luffy has is the same title that was given to Whitebeard, Shanks, individuals like Kaido, Big Mom. Luffy's got that title now. And it's not no fifth. He is one of the 4. And so with the 4 Emperor system back, and Luffy's one of the top 4 big dogs in the verse, and especially after individuals hearing that he took down the world's strongest creature, when we get to the next island, it is full on Straw Hat hype. Even Chopper is going to pull up, and they're going to be shook. Chopper might knock somebody out with his Conqueror's Haki. He might knock somebody out with his Conqueror's Haki. They're going to be eating that man's cotton candy. They're going to pass out. Come on, man. Straw Hat hype? It's going to be wild, dude, going into this next arc. Yo, all powerful God Anna, what's good, yo? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm sorry, Monsoon. I'm trying to tell you, yo. Also, Stefan Sali says that that Yamato might have Wano as like a base, and then a solo adventure like Ace, and then a cover story with Yamato. You know what? If barring that Yamato does not go with us, a cover story, I'd take it. If that's what it takes to have Yamato in the chapters, I'd take it. You know what I mean? I'll take it. Yamato getting a Heart Pirate jumpsuit. Yo, Stinky Raven, you think that Law's gonna sign the contract? Yo, if Law gets Yamato on the crew, man. Hatching Pete says, nice, got the stream live. I want to see Instant Messenger Sound making moves soon. I imagine Im has an ability that's countered by the Nika no Mi, which other Gorosei after. That's a very good point, you know. Maybe, I mean, the Nika, let's be honest here. What is the Nika fruit not countering at this point? This is an ability, as stated in the most recent interview with Gosho Aoyama. Excuse me. Man, you see, it's already starting to hit. The peak fiction is already starting to hit me. That, this is already the same fruit that Oda directly compared and was inspired by Tom and Jerry to create. Like, this is his time to go all out. This is our Gear 5th. Imagination greater than reality. Turning one's imagination into reality. And so it's like, that ability for me counters everything. It counters everything. And so I think that's why Nika, or Instant Messenger-sama was so shook of it, because barring that Im-sama has the biggest, most direct connection to the Void Sentries, from the Void Sentry, saw the original Joy Boy, saw Nika, the connection with the Giant Straw Hat, all that stuff, he knows how powerful Nika is. Or how the influence of Nika was so insane. Maybe he saw Nika actually doing this back in the day. Actually, imagine that, y'all. Imagine the Joy Boy flashback, because also in the Gosho Aoyama interview, Oda stated that he can't wait to draw the developments of the Void Sentry. Now that's going to be coming in soon. And so it's like, I do wonder if a piece of that Joy Boy flashback is going to be drawn in like an old 30s cartoon style. Like if Oda would go, if the original Joy Boy maximized the Gear 5th abilities and was like, yo, every single thing around me is turning into a cartoon, I could see Whole Cake Island times 30 in one chapter of the flashback where Joy Boy first gets shown, where it's just legit Cuphead. It is a Cuphead chapter in One Piece where we see just a massive Looney Tunes land with, you know, it would like I said, it would be Whole Cake Island with Big Mom and the songs and Disney, except it would be that but Looney Tunes. Before all the craziness in the Void Century and the Will of D and the Ancient Kingdoms, I would love to get one little small portion of a chapter dedicated to Joy Boy just being Bugs Bunny. The original Joy Boy being Bugs Bunny. I think that'd be great. Honestly, no lie, I think that'd be great. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Before we get into all the craziness, because obviously the Void Century flashback is for us to understand the history of the verse, but give me a little bit. You know, give me a little bit of the Cuphead greatness. You feel me? Give me a little bit. Give me a little bit. Yeah, Parvision Fest. We gotta block out a whole day, man. A whole day, yo. Lads, Thursday was a great example of me walking out of Gorilla before time was up because the new Goto was... I'm telling you, bro. You feel me? Like, yo, sometimes you just... people gotta understand when the One Piece is out, I'm out. It's like the skit that we had earlier this week. Yo, if One Piece is out, I'm out. I don't care. Especially after a break like this. One Piece is out, I'm out. Yo, hey Shiz, what's good? What's up, yo? What's good? It's good to see you. Patrick D. Funky, what's good, my brother? First, what's up? What I'm thinking is, what is with Jewelry Bonnie, my girl? Hello. Hey, Laz is right there with you when it comes to Jewelry Bonnie. You know, you feel me? And I think Jewelry Bonnie has so much potential now with Kuma being freed. And that connection with Jewelry Bonnie and Kuma taking us potentially into the kingdom where they both originate with the Sorbet Kingdom. That's probably gonna have major endgame implications. And so I'm so excited to see how Oda's gonna take this whole Jewelry Bonnie thing. Whether Jewelry Bonnie and Kuma go to Vegapunk or whether they go to the Sorbet Kingdom, I'm just really, really excited for considering how important the supernovas have become and that connection between Bonnie and Kuma. You already know Oda's cooking something nasty. Shanks now has 2 monkeys in his crew. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll take it. Recon, what are your thoughts on Oda being a liar with that 3-year statement? When has Oda not been a liar with the statements? This is the same man that thought One Piece was going to end in 5 years, and now it's 20 years later. 20 years later, we're still here, yo, and I'm glad. Because the thing is, right, when it comes to Oda, and he even said it in the interview, that it's like, I'm pretty much you know, every single time somebody asks me about this, I'm always wrong, so I don't even like answering it. But he said that he's going to try to end in 3 years, which is why, to me, that was the most interesting part about that statement, was that Oda, in his mind, thinks it's possible to end in 3 years. And the last time he ended an arc of this magnitude in 3 years was the Marineford arc, the Paramount War saga, from 2008 to 2010. He told a massive, large-scale story that was absolutely phenomenal that had multiple arcs, right? Because Dressrosa took 3 years, but it was one arc. Wano Onigashima is like 2 arcs in one. That took 4 years. But with in the Four Emperors saga, technically from Four Emperors saga started in 2016 to 2022, that was 6 years. So it's like these major arcs. So in Oda's mind, whenever I saw that 3-year thing, I was like, wait, he knows how he is. So he's probably thinking a mixture of short and long arcs leading into the grand finale. And so we're going to get a Paramount War saga type of thing. We're going to have like 5 arcs or 5, 6, 4, whatever it is. In his mind, which that 3-year thing I don't believe in the slightest, but like I said, just seeing it from Oda's perspective, he knows how many new ideas comes into his mind and how he's not going to meet that deadline. There's no way. Knowing Oda, there's no way. And so, but in his mind, he thinks it's possible. So, knowing how much is left, it's like, for him in his mind, it's like, okay, I'm going to hit you with a Sabaody level arc, a Jaya level arc, a Skypiea level arc, in terms of length, right? He's thinking about going from 15 chapter, in his mind I'm going to assume 15 chapter arc, 10 chapter arc, 30 chapter arc, grand finale, 60, 100 chapters, whatever. But it's just, the structure is what fascinates me the most about that line of thinking, because we all assume we have like 5 islands left. Or 4, 5, 6 islands left. So the fact that Oda thinks he can finish in that time means he doesn't think we're going to be spending in some islands as much time as we thought we were going to be. And I think that's the most fascinating part about it. Because we all know Oda's capping. There's no doubt. Listen, Wano was 4 years. There's no way Final Saga is shorter than Wano, and Wano's a part of a Four Emperors saga, so it's like, there's no way. So, I can see the final, considering that the lead up into that, because the reason why Marineford works so well in just being a 30 chapter arc is we had the build up to it. Sabo already was a short arc that lit off the entire thing. Amazon Lily did a great job transitioning us from Sabo already to Impel Down. Impel Down is a part of like this. So if Impel Down and Marineford were one, it'd be 60 chapters, right? But because they're both split in half, it's 30 and 30. And so we go Impel Down, Absolute Insanity, we go to Marineford, and then post Marineford. So that's why for me, this Final Saga can work in some sort of 3 to 5 year increment if Oda keeps it in that way. Like a lot of shine moments, whatever, in short arc, medium arc, short arc, long arc, medium arc transition, big Final Saga, and the big Final Saga doesn't have to be insanely huge because we've already had the build up leading into the final or into the final part of that arc, the final war, because we could have like a Marineford type of thing where it's the culmination of everything that just took place before that. So we've already had stuff happening, we've already had characters having moments, so now we're focused on the final conflict, and that's why I can see the final conflict not being as long as something like a Wano or a Dressrosa. But even if it is, I wouldn't complain, but it's just, I think the structure of it this time around is going to be different compared to the structure of arcs we've had up until the, or sagas we've had post-time skip so far. So I'm excited. That's the thing that from that 3-year announcement had me like, what in the world is this man thinking? Because we all know he's capping. We all know Oda's capping. There's no way he finishes this in 3 years. I mean, this is the same dude who, the year that, we're still waiting on the Hancock thing, right? Where he was like, Hancock, Sabo, Vivi, oh my. We haven't heard from them since. You know what I'm saying? We heard about Vivi now. And so he has so many new ideas that comes in that he can never really properly time his story, right? And I don't want him to time his story. So, Oda, keep going as long as you want, my brother. Keep going as long as you want. Oh, Jinsia came in with another super. I was like, I saw something blue over here with the corner of my eye. There it is. So, Jinsia comes in with a 50 and says, I feel like a gigantic betrayal will happen soon. Or betrayals. That's fascinating. In what way? You're talking about like a betrayal toward us, the Straw Hats? Or a betrayal from, like, within the world government? A betrayal, because, there's a lot of people who can betray others. Right, we can have betrayal within. I've talked about this possibility before. You never know if one of the members of any of these organizations will betray the other. Aokiji is in the Blackbeard Pirates, but we all believe that this man is not actually, and Blackbeard himself, I believe, believes that he's not actually there in order to help him out. So if that constitutes a betrayal, sure. But the Goros say we don't know if all 5 of them are of the same vision, right? Like there could be betrayal there. Within the admirals or the WG, there could be a spy, or something along those lines. Whatever it is, you're absolutely right. And we're about to enter the part of the story where it's going to get super chaotic. So this is the time for betrayals and heel turns and babyface turns are going to start happening all over the place. So, but a betrayal happening against the Straw Hats fascinates me, because who would do it? And if it is going to be a betrayal, that means we would have to have trusted this individual first. So it's like, who would betray us? Jinsia, let me know. Who do you think's gonna betray us? I'll just make sure to check my phone in public spaces. Yo, some facts, man. Facts. We'll take it. Do you think Shanks may fight Luffy? I think he is fighting Luffy. There's no doubt about that. Now, whether... I think after this last chapter, because before the last chapter, I was very, like, they're gonna have a clash. Maybe they'll have a drink afterwards. But I think after the last chapter, I'm pretty, 100% sure that they're going to box. And it's going to be legendary. No, I agree with you, Chubby Alonso. And that's why, to me, the ability is so much fun. Gear 5th, it's not that it's broken. It's that within the individual who's utilizing it, and because now he can utilize his ability to its maximum potential, it's up to Luffy to do whatever he wants with it, right? Like, it's not an ability that's broken per se, But it most certainly is an ability now where Luffy is upon the upper echelon of individuals in this verse because of everything he can do with it. He's no longer restricted by his body. His body can now... His body, his skill set... And, bro, the man played jump rope with Kaido. He literally jumped into Kaido and through his eyes, cartoon style, right? He grabbed lightning. All this stuff that would seem to be illogical is now logical because of Gear 5th. And that's why I think the ability is a perfect counter to anything that's out there. Barring maybe Blackbeard's Yami Yami no Mi, because the Yami Yami no Mi, of course, can absorb fruits. So that's where Conqueror's coding is going to come into the picture. Uh-oh. Might be time, yo. I'm going to try my hardest to answer some of these, and then we're out of here. There's been a great afterthought so far. Did you notice Vivi is in the same situation as in Alabasta back then? Only she and the Straw and the Crocodile was a villain. Not only she and the rest know that Cobra was not killed by Sabo. Yo, that's a major parallel, yo. Stefan Sali is spitting facts. Spitting facts. Xanarkin, my dog Xanarkin. What's good, Xanarkin? Do you think that there will be some permanent downsides to Luffy using his gears? Especially now Gear 5th. I think the only permanent repercussion that we could have is Luffy potentially, having some incurable disease like Roger did toward the end of the series that Chopper is going to have to save him from. But in terms of the gears, now after Gear 5th, we'll have to wait and see whether there's going to be some massive repercussions. We've talked about this before, Laz and I, and Laz and Silva have talked about this possibility of like Big Mom potentially looking at Luffy's lifespan and being like, holy sweet mother of Flagnards, this isn't looking good for the king. And then when we see that, we're like, oh, Luffy only has an X amount of years to live. Because there's a massive possibility Luffy dies at the end of the series. And so if he dies at the end of the series, because there's been so many hints, right, throughout the series of Gear 2nd is damaging his lifespan. Whenever he used Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd against through the bark, like, oh, that's not good for his body. He used the hormone thing with Ivanka that also took his lifespan. So it's like he's done all these reckless things. Now Gear 5th, I'm going to assume, when your heartbeat is not sounding the way it normally does, that's really bad. So I do think there will be long-term repercussions that are going to lead to, if Luffy does die at the end of the series, after, Pirate King and all that stuff, but I'm not sure yet. But I do believe that we can go either way with it. If there isn't any consequences, because this is the peak of his ability, so this is once Luffy reached the pinnacle of his ability, he now has Gear 5th, and he doesn't have to worry about repercussions anymore. He's now reached the way that Kaido was, where Kaido was able to switch between all those forms and not have any repercussions. If Luffy is now at the state to where now he can switch between all those forms and have no repercussions, I'm cool with it, because that means he's reached the pinnacle of his ability. But if it's because of his gears and everything stayed up until the series, up until this point, that now this is really taking a toll on him, we're going to see those consequences soon, I could see that as well. It just depends on the route that Oda wants to go with this. If Luffy is going to be hit by it, we're going to see it pretty soon, I'm going to assume. But if we don't see anything from it here within maybe going into the next arc, or the next time he uses Gear 5th, then I think that's it. I think it's just he's reached the mastery of his ability, and we don't have to worry about him having consequences anymore. Yeah, no, Subra, I saw it. What I was saying by lying is, it's not necessarily, or it's not that Oda's lying at all. The thing is that he has so many ideas that even though he's always been quote-unquote correct, right? Like, whenever the series states that, where he was like, back in Return to Sabaody, like, okay, the series is 50% complete. Now we're 60%. Now we're 70%. Now we're 80%. That has always been accurate. The thing that I'm talking about is whenever he's, like, in the Jump Festa news articles, and he'll write, like, a note for what's happening that year, he'll write something thinking it's going to happen that year, but it doesn't happen that year. It happens the year after, or the year after that. Because Oda came up with so many new ideas to implement into the story that he pushed that idea into the back burner because he understood, in order to get to that, I need to tell all of this. And so that's what I'm talking about, where because of the way that Oda's wired from a storyteller's standpoint, he's always thinking of new stuff. It's why One Piece is not only as long as it is, but why it's as good as it is. Because he has these brand new ideas and utilizes them in ways that have never really been seen before. And that's why One Piece will never be able to follow that correct timeline. The percentage thing, though, has always been accurate, which is what I think Archer was talking about, right, Subra? If I'm not mistaken? The Crocodile Woman theory. The Crocodile Woman theory, yo. That's a classic one. ZKK. Yo. I mean, Kaido's still alive. I think. Is Kaido still alive? No, he's alive. Kaido's alive. We're gonna see him soon. I need, Marcus Lem says, I need Void Century flashbacks in a film with some of Roger's journeys on the line. I would love that, Marcus Lem. I would love that. A Void Century flashback we're getting within the canon manga, but a film of Roger's journey? Inject it. Vortex, absolutely. Fujitora, I believe by the end of the series, will definitely be on the other side of the Marines. I most certainly see them in the case. PK says, prediction, next chapter we get Boa Warlords. I hope you're right, PK. I hope you're right, yo. SSG, oh my god, bro, if we see the SSG, Dragon, PK just dropped chapter of the year right there if we get that. Well, no, I can't even say that. 1044 and 1054 are out. You know, this year when we do this chapter of the year stream / video, I don't know what we're gonna do, y'all. There's too much peak. If we get Boa and the Warlords, SSG, and Dragon in the next chapter, oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. So, but we're in Final Saga territory. Like Silva said earlier, from here on out, every chapter is chapter of the year material. So, you know what I mean? But it's just 1044. The Gear 5th chapter is so special to me, and I'm such a massive Shanks tard. Like, those chapters are probably going to stand the test of time for the rest of the year. I just, that's the thing. So, absolutely. But yeah, based off Oda's message and potentially setting up the players for the end game, you're right, PK. Absolutely right, PK. Law is a part of Sword. I do love that theory, California Penguin. I do love that theory. Shout out to Matt and Randy Troy for coming up with that. Nile, my brother, what's good, Nile? What's good, bro? Yo, Parvision, man. Thank you so much for stopping by, bro. I truly appreciate you. Talk to you soon, and have a good one, my good brother. No, it really isn't that broken, Wilkin. That's what I like so much about it. It's just that he becomes the pinnacle of himself. Years ago, so Jamaican Dundun says, years ago I dreamt of One Piece's ending. Luffy versus Blackbeard destroyed the Red Line. Blackbeard pulled the moon to Earth. Pulled the moon to Earth Noah style. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds kind of filthy. Luffy turns into a big balloon to stop it, and Imu helps with Uranus like Sea Kings. So wait a minute. So first and foremost, Blackbeard pulling the moon down is kind of filthy. I like that idea. I kind of like that idea. Because every single arc has a time limit. We have Birdcage, we have the bomb, like, every arc has a time limit. So could you imagine the time limit in the final arc is Blackbeard pulling down something from outer space, and this is about to crash? If somebody doesn't do something, Blackbeard's gonna literally destroy the planet? I'm down for that, man. I'm down. Blackbeard hype, I'm always down for that. NL, I'm down. But Luffy turning into a massive Fusen to stop it is interesting. That's something I can actually see Oda doing. But Instant Messenger Sama helps with Uranus like Sea Kings to stop it. Would Instant Messenger Sama want to stop the planet from being destroyed? I don't know. But that's interesting. Yeah, that's what a dream. What a dream to have, yo. But you talking about this Blackbeard pulling on the moon? Like, that's some good stuff, dude. That's some good stuff. Yeah, PK, that's facts. I would love to see Blackbeard. Since we just saw Shanks, I would love to see Blackbeard in this chapter. Shard the Dank was good. Yo, he says, you hear the idea that Green Bull's real body isn't on Wano. He's just in a spore / clone. I did not hear that theory. That's actually a really, really interesting theory. That would make sense considering his ability, man. I honestly had not heard that theory yet. Jimmy Alonso, what if the One Piece treasure is the One Piece story that we were reading? Then it's the greatest treasure ever made. Because this is the greatest story ever made. Do you think Sabo is actually a villain? Not at all, John. Not at all. Sabo is out here doing his thing and he's being framed for it. He's being framed for it, man. My dog ain't a villain. Yo, Miss, what's good? Yo, this is what up, King? Do you think about the series ending when the One Piece gets revealed? So, the way so Miss, I know what you're talking about. I saw that thing from Archer as well. And the way I see it is the same thing I see about Oda when he talks about final chapter. In Japan, and it gets lost in translation because of the way mangaka view their stories to where we view our stories, or view the story of One Piece. We view the story of One Piece through arcs and sagas. They view it on a chapter-to-chapter basis. So in Oda's mind, and what I mean by chapter-to-chapter is, we have the Luffy Gear 5th chapter, because in Japan, they call like a certain part of Wano the Kinemon Saga, the Rooftop Saga, like all of that, the little mini arcs in the middle of this long major thing. And so I think in Oda's mind, final chapter means final saga. And so with that being said, I think what he means by the One Piece being found and the series ends right after that, it's not that the One Piece gets found, cut to black, it's over. What I think it means is once the One Piece gets found, that's where we all know collectively the series is coming to a close soon. Because right whenever the One Piece is found, that's whenever the gears finally turn towards the end, the real final stretch of One Piece. That's the way I see it. Just knowing how other author interviews have gone from Japanese to English, the way they view their stories as episodes. Like an episode is normally a chapter. A chapter means like a stretch of chapters or a stretch of arcs, whatever. That to me is what that means. So what Oda means whenever, this is what I think Oda means, whenever he states that after the One Piece is found, the series will be over, is that once the One Piece is found, that is us going, from then on out, that's it. That's it. Like, we will know 150%. There will be no other thing. There's no other island to explore. There's no other crewmate to enter the crew. That is the true end game starts there. Once the One Piece is found, it is time to start the final stretch of One Piece. The actual final stretch of One Piece. That's what I think he means by that, personally. Just knowing, like I said, the difference between Japanese to English. Oh my goodness, it's almost 2 o'clock, bro. Yo! My goodness! Yo, Speak! Speak comes in with a 5. What's up, good brother Speak? Do you think the Joy Boy lore dump could be earlier than we think? Elbaf had a fun reread of the Reverie and forgot the Giant Straw Hat. Yo, no, that was a legendary chapter when the Giant Straw Hat popped up. Yeah, this was a MJ45 chapter, for sure. Speak, thank you so much for the 5. So as far as the Joy Boy lore dump, actually, Speak, I do think we could get that earlier than we expected, considering that we don't know, because the thing is about the Void Century flashback, we don't know if we could get that in parts, right? We don't know if we're going to get the full picture. We're going to get the full picture whenever we get to Laugh Tale, but we don't know how much of that we're going to know going into it. So let's just say we meet Vegapunk before we go to Laugh Tale. Vegapunk is obviously, Oda's already told us, Vegapunk's going to tell us the origin of the fruits. If Vegapunk tells us the origin of the fruits, that's going to connect to Joy Boy. That's going to connect to Nika and the original individuals from back then. So it's like, we're going to have to find out a piece of that. We're going to get a massive lore dump just for that stuff. So I do think that's a genuine possibility, Speak, that we get that Joy Boy stuff soon, at least a piece of the Joy Boy lore dump soon, and then of course we see the final Joy Boy lore dump when we get to Laugh Tale and see the rest of the Void Century flashback. So, but if it is an Elbaf, we'll take it. Elbaf obviously is something that's been built up for a long time, and if Oda's been wanting to tell the Joy Boy story or a piece of the Joy Boy story in Elbaf, we already know they have the Sun God there as well. So if there is a real connection there to the Void Century, to the Nika stuff, then Elbaf might be the one. Elbaf might be the one. Subra says next chapter will be Buggy as a Yonko and Strive Bounties. My prediction, I will take that. I would love to see Buggy, his path to Yonko, or Buggy's reaction to him being a Yonko and the rest of the Strive Bounties. I would love that, Subra. I would love that. Yo, I would love that Side B327. To get a Revolutionary Army backstory, that needs to be injected into my veins. That needs to be injected into my veins, yo. No doubt about that. Straw Killick says, it's great to hear your thoughts on the chapter, Recon. We're alive in an amazing time. We really are alive in an amazing time, yo. One Piece is going crazy, man. Syndratic, let's go. Syndratic says, I'm not comparing because it's too different of a series, but Gear 5th really does remind me of how I felt during Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation. Syndratic, the thing that really reminds me about Goku's Super Saiyan transformation in regards to Gear 5th and why I love Gear 5th's, the idea of 1044's existence, is chapter 1044 was like getting Goku as a Saiyan and the same chapter where he reaches Super Saiyan, right? So it's like you get the reveal about the Nika fruit in this chapter, and at the end of the chapter you see the pinnacle of what that fruit can do. So that this entire time now we come to understand exactly why it is this individual has been able to do what he's been doing. And that's what I love so much about 1044, is that it was like that Super Saiyan transformation. We see the Saiyan transformation of Legend, but in that very same chapter we also get the Raditz drop of like, oh my goodness, the Saiyan thing. It's like both of those in one chapter, and it was That's what really made me compare that chapter to the likes of the Super Saiyan transformation, and why I think by the time One Piece ends, it will be seen in that regard because of course everything that is going to end up being iconic needs time, right? And I do believe that 1044, the Gear 5 transformation, is going to end up being in that echelon of transformations, just based on the fact that not only is this a transformation that that has that insane reveal and twist within it, and it's an awesome ability on top of that, with a crazy greatest character design ever for transformation. But Oda also talking about that within the Gosho Aoyama interview about how Gear 5 was a risk. He knew the whole readership wasn't going to like it, and when you have something like that, when you take a risk and it actually pays off, it's like it's amazing, especially for a series like One Piece that you already see so many risks like that being taken, but this was like a massive risk to do something like this, and it ended up being the best case scenario, at least for me, because I love Gear 5. But I see the comparison there. So it's 2 o'clock. I'm gonna have to get going. I'm so sorry, Ollie. I had a great time. I only planned to be here for 30 minutes, and we're here for an hour and a half because it's so much to talk about with this chapter. One Piece greatness. So what I'm gonna do is keep an eye out on the channel this week. I'm gonna see if I can do Shokugeki no Sanji this week. I for sure have some more stuff to say than I said here about not only this week's chapter, but about the interview that Oda did with Gosho Aoyama. There's some things in there that I want to talk about. So we'll see if I get an opportunity to talk about that. If not, then we'll just save that for a discussion or a stream, or whenever we talk about a stream or something. But I'm really excited for this upcoming chapter. I'm gonna be trying my hardest to stay off social media, obviously, going into this crazy stretch we're going into thanks to this chapter. So I'm not going to be active in the comment section too much this week until the chapter drops, but I will try to upload as frequently as I can. There's a lot of stuff, like I said, to discuss, and a lot of stuff to read and whatnot, so not just with the One Piece, but with other things. So we'll see what ends up actually happening, but it's an extremely exciting time to be a fan of this story. Shanks, greatness, the GOAT was in this chapter, the OG GOAT with the coat. We're coming fresh off of an amazing episode last night, which was spectacular. I've rewatched so many scenes from it so many different times, man. It was such a great episode. The film Red trailer was fantastic, and I just can't wait to see that movie, and it's been a great time, man. But the latest chapter really got me. It got me because not only did we get the Sabo thing we've been wanting to see this whole time, we got some Momonosuke greatness, and I love character moments, right? But Shanks, man, like, what are you doing? We got Shanks for 3 pages, bro. I can't handle Shanks for more than 5 seconds. You won't last longer than 5 seconds, right? You can't handle it, Shanks greatness. Can't handle it, Shanks greatness. So it's like, yo, Shanks GOAT in here for 3 pages. Your boy started to sweat. Triple Sen hats. You feel me? So I was like, yeah, let's go. So love this chapter. Can't wait for the next one. We'll see what happens. Laz, let's try to connect later on this week. If you and Silva are available, we'll connect. We'll talk about some greatness, and for sure, Shanks is about to have that 100-point game, yo. Absolutely insane stuff. But I appreciate everyone for stopping by on such short notice, because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to do this today, but we were able to do it. So thank y'all so much for providing an awesome discussion. A lot of great stuff we talked about today. It was so much fun. And then the final comment here, Subra says, "Good to you, good day to you, King. Good day to you, Subra, man. I know it's different, major difference in time zones for both of us. So I appreciate you being over here. Yeah, time zone is bad, so can't attend the chapter streams, but I'll watch them later. Awesome stream, GOAT. I appreciate you, Subra. Thank you so much for the kind words. I truly appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And get some sleep, yo. I know it's the time zone difference is crazy. But I truly do appreciate you. Fireboy Sanji, what's good, yo? I'm ending the stream right here. Hey, Shiz. I'll see y'all later on. It's going to be a good week, y'all. Get ready for some more One Piece greatness. And then even after that chapter, we have an episode to come after that. And y'all know that episode is more than likely going to have that legendary Zoro scene. So I will see y'all. Have an awesome day. Take care. Actually, one more comment. Harsh J says, "Yo, Recon, did you realize that the G5 theme was used in today's episode? Is there really going to be the G5 theme? I know it's Luffy's awakening or awakened performance is regardless. The theme is gourd. The theme is legitimately goated. So if they use that for Gear 5, I'm down. I'm down for that, man. Because that was my first time hearing that theme, because I refused to hear the Luffy's awakened performance and the other one, Luffy's awakening. It's called. I didn't hear those 2 soundtracks before they played them. And so when they played I think only one of them was played. when they played this one, I was like, yo, what is this majestic soundtrack? And then y'all told me it was a new soundtrack. I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I'll see y'all. Take care. Have an awesome, awesome sauce of a weekend and a great Sunday, yo. Take care. Goat peace. Shanks is here. The OG goat with the goat, baby. Let's go, man. Yo. My computer doesn't want to work.